Last week we had quite the experience in The Last of Us. It was a long episode where they took a little bit of a character detour to follow into Bill and Frank's life from start of the apocalypse to ending of their lives, and it was awesome. It was so well done and beautiful, and I'm not the first one to say that. I'm maybe one of the last. It was an incredible episode, and everyone has been talking about it this entire week, which honestly, like, as a huge fan of The Last of Us, it is amazing to see it getting, like, you know, worldwide recognition from, like, people outside of a gaming circle. Because gaming circles, obviously, have generally agreed that The Last of Us is incredible, right? But yeah, the outer media audience, they still had to, some of them still had to see what was so great about the series. And what's so great about the series, in my opinion, is Neil Druckmann. I have always loved the way Neil Druckmann approaches writing, the way he wants to tell stories. I feel like I agree with him on, like, every writer's point, you know? Like, basically every single decision he makes, I go, Neil, I mean, he's, it's not something I would have thought of, but you're a genius for doing it, and I love it. I really love Neil Druckmann. So yeah, I'm excited to get into episode 4 now. I believe they said that episode 3 was kind of the biggest detour that they take from the source material, which I would believe, you know, like the fact that they basically spent an entire episode. Like, I don't imagine they're going to be doing that for much else. But also, I mean, for a TV show, it also does make sense to tell the story like that, because in a game you have to tell the story through gameplay, and the gameplay is fighting zombies. And in a TV show, you got to tell the story through the characters in some way, through something that people can watch and still be entertained by. And a love story was the perfect way to do that, I think. And it fit in with the themes very well. You can watch my discussion at the end of last episode to find out what exactly I thought about the episode. I shouldn't rehash all of it, but I've just been thinking about it all week, and I can't wait to get into episode 4 of this show and see where they take us from here. I know the sorts of plots that are coming up, and I am excited to see them on the big screen. So without further ado, let's jump into this episode. This is episode 4 of The Last of Us. If you want to watch the full-length reaction to the episode, you can go to my Patreon account in the description below and go check it out. But also to support the video if you can, to help out the channel. So let's get into it. Episode 4 of The Last of Us. Here we go. No cold open again. Practicing with the gun. Oh, careful. Pretty sure she knows where the safety is and all of that. I wonder how much they would have taught her about this in Fedra military school. Hey, I mean, yeah, she did it with no bullets in it to practice. Honestly, I think this is kind of smart. She's getting used to the gun before she actually has to use it.
Back in the day, we'd drive 10-12 hours on one tank. You could go anywhere.
So where'd you go?
Nowhere.
Much nowhere.
Yeah.
Travels against gravity because pressure.
You don't know.
I know it works. No wandering.
This is your fault then.
Oh, joke book? Please tell me it's a joke book. Holy shit.
It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope.
Yes.
It'll still be stationary. Volume 2.
Yeah.
2, like TLoU. What did the mermaid wear to her math class? An algebra. I stayed up all night, wondering where the sun went. And then it dawned on me.
Free weight in the truck.
Nothing you can do to stop him.
I love Joel trying so hard not to get attached. I knew the second they had downtime she was whipping out that joke book.
I got something. Here. This make you all nostalgic?
That's actually before my
It's actually
time.
before my time.
That is a winner, though.
Right.
It's a winner, though.
Yep.
Got something else.
Oh! The porn mag!
interesting pictures.
Oh, no. Put that back. That's not for kids.
How do you even walk around with that thing?
Please get rid of it.
Why are all these pages stuck together?
Wow, that was the most one-to-one scene that we've had in a long time. Like, that was straight out of the game. Wow, that's incredible. Look at that ship on that side. Is he finding some place to park where they can sleep or something? Oh yeah, they would have gotten lots of food at Bill's, huh?
Slow down.
That's just slow. Actually smells kind of good.
Well, that would be Frank's then.
The joke book? No pun intended. You're not asleep, Joel.
Joe!
What did the triangle say to the circle?
Why did the scarecrow get an award?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Yeah.
You dick! Did you read this?
No.
Oh,
Go to sleep.
he had the smallest smile there. The smallest smile as he turned around. Like he was proud of doing the dad joke. He probably did that shit with Sarah all the time. Man, I'd be so paranoid to go to sleep. Did he not get any sleep?
Oh, what the fuck is that?
Well, theirs was a lot fresher than what Bill saved up, but yeah, this is what they sold.
He must be so happy to have coffee. Joel loves his coffee.
Cheyenne.
Really? Cheyenne. Laramie.
That was
Casper?
well delivered and natural though. Really?
What's his name?
Long story.
Is it longer than 25 hours? Because I think that's what we got.
Long story is code for he doesn't want to talk about it, but
Tommy's what we used to call a joiner. Point is, being in the army didn't make him feel much like a hero. Cut to 12 years later, outbreak happens. He convinces me to join a group making their way up to Boston, which I did. She talks me to joining the Fireflies. Same mistake he made when he was 18. So now he's on his own out there, and I gotta go get him.
that's a great monologue. I love hearing that story.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on? I mean, you gotta try, right?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. And she was like family.
What if you don't find him?
I will.
How do you know?
I'm persistent.
I love
Get up
Joel.
pretty early if you want to grab more sleep.
I'm not even tired.
I think that cut worked better in this show than it does in the game. In the game, they linger on the shot a little too long. Jeez.
Where the fuck is the highway?
I can't tell from this. I'm all turned around.
Well, don't look at the state map. Look at the
I
inside.
don't know where we are in that either. This is my second day in a fucking car, man. Where the fuck is Fedra?
Huh. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh! Oh, shit. Oh! Man, this is the most action we've had in a while.
You see that hole? They're not gonna hit you. Look at me. They're not gonna hit you.
Oh!
You stay down. You stay low. You stay.
Nice, good shot. Oh, that was your chance, but he didn't see it. Jeez, that's scary. Good on her for not screaming. Oh! It's a gun. She shot very low, didn't she?
I'm gonna go home. I'll tell everyone you're good. I don't know what to do.
Oh.
My leg's so far.
Oh my
My
god.
mom is far. If you can get me to her, we can be friends. I didn't know. I'm Bryan.
Oh my god. This is awful to watch.
Get back behind the wall. No. I'm sorry. Please. We can just talk. I'm sorry. Please.
Jesus.
No, you can just talk.
We're not just gonna hear it, are we? Oh! I can't believe. Oh my god.
I'm okay. I'm good. I got some food in here still,
I'll-
and I got your light.
Man,
so.
the way she's just like trying to
What now?
not think about it and move forward. She's like, I'm okay, I'm good.
Get a better look.
Oh, they're calling for Bryan. That makes me sad.
This has gone too far. It has to stop.
It has to stop now, you mean? Now that you're in the cell.
Oh my god.
But before, people dying was okay.
Never told them anything about your brother.
But Henry did.
Mm,
And we know that he's still in the city.
okay.
I'm your doctor.
Oh my gosh, that's a very interesting scene. I think I like what they're setting up here.
Maybe he found someone out there. Maybe he called these guys in.
So you're
Will
just
he live?
having Henry be the scapegoat for it?
Open it.
Oh no, is she just gonna shoot him? Jesus!
Find who did this. Find every
She's got her
collaborator
own.
and kill them all.
She's got her own agenda, and she's pushing it hard. Anything that bad that happens is gonna be on Henry. I like her character so far because she doesn't seem like a hardened individual. She seems very out of her element, but emotionally driven.
Are you okay?
Oh.
I'm all right. Are you all right?
Such a simple conversation. I love it.
First time that you hurt someone like that. I'm not good at this.
No, I really am.
It was my fault.
He's trying.
You shouldn't have had to.
Oh, she's such a good actress. Holy shit. I want to talk about that type of acting
It
specifically.
wasn't my first time.
Finger off the trigger. Now, who taught you that?
Pedro school.
Figures. Thumb? Uh-uh. You put it in your pack. Shoot your damn ass off.
Oh my god. I love seeing how their relationship is developing. It's doing it like nice and slowly, but also there's certain bits that are a bit faster than the game, you know. But overall, they're doing it very effectively. Oh.
What?
This guy having his own doubts about this entire situation. Feels like she's much more gung-ho on this mission than he is. What the hell? Whoa.
Let's just handle what we have to handle. We can deal with this after.
I think she doesn't want to take the job, anyone off of the
Henry.
The Henry job.
Yeah.
She's so hyper focused on finding Henry to get revenge.
Got you. Ellie. God damn it.
That is such a Joel delivery. I love it.
Without me, huh?
We're going up 42 flights.
45.
Jesus. I'm getting exhausted just watching him.
I've been on both sides. It was a long time ago. We did what we needed to survive.
You and Tess?
And the people we were with. My brother, too.
Did you kill innocent people?
I think he said my brother too very regretfully.
Come on.
Yeah, he doesn't want to answer that. Oh.
Leave the ass. 56 years old, you little shit.
You sure you're gonna hear it?
Of course I'll hear it. That's the damn point.
Okay. Well, good night.
I would try my best not to sleep within sight of the door, you know? I'd be sleeping like against that wall there, you know? She's gonna say something.
What did you mean it wasn't your first time?
Oh, he's asking a question. He's reaching out.
It isn't fair. Your age. Having to deal with all of this.
So it gets easier when you get older?
No, not really.
Joel?
Hmm.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
What?
Yeah. It runs in your genes.
Oh!
That is so goddamn stupid.
You got motherfucker.
Don't laugh.
Yes,
Jesus, I'm losing it.
you're losing it big time.
Oh my god. Holy fuck. That's such a human moment. Like,
Joel.
oh, I was so not expecting a scene like that, and I love it. Shit. Holy fuck! Wow. Oh. Okay, I feel like I have a lot to talk about in this, but I think I have to talk about that final little conversation they had, because that is, it gets me really emotional, because that is like a really, I guess I already put it the best way I can. That's a very human moment for Joel. And it's like, Joel is a very complicated character because he is clearly very damaged. He's very hurt, and he's done a lot of horrible things in his past. And what I've said in this show, I said this last episode, what it feels like they've done is they've made Ellie a little, like, more, like, a little harder, a little more hardened, you know? And they've made Joel a little softer. And I'm worried that some people are going to be averse to that sort of thing, you know? Because in the game, Joel is very, very emotionally closed off. Very, very much so. And that we can still see that a lot here as well. But, like, I don't think I've ever heard Joel laugh like that. And and it was very in character, like it feels like Joel, but it's like it feels like that's the first time in 20 years that he's laughed like that, you know? Like that's what that scene felt like. I'm getting very emotional to that. There's something about that scene that like that might have been my favorite scene in the entire show so far. And I know that's like coming off of episode 3. Episode 3 had, you know, this incredible story that was all about love, and it did a great job at telling this enclosed story that was really beautiful and like somewhat relatable, and told a complete story from start to finish. Had a sort of bittersweet ending, but mostly like a sweet ending, you know. And it but like there are certain triggers that really get me, and it's simple stuff like that can like really properly like get me emotional. And so just the idea that like Joel's connection with Ellie throughout this episode, we can see it. Like this episode feels like the bonding episode, right? And throughout this episode we can see it. He's trying to open up more. It's pretty near the start of the episode that he tells her she's just cargo and that she's not family, you know. But throughout the episode we can see, I mean, he feels the guilt of having her shoot someone. He feels the guilt and the fear of how like she knows that he just killed that man, you know, like he made her go into the other room, but like he knows that she was listening to him kill that man, and he doesn't want to really talk about it. He can see bits of himself in her, but he can also see bits of Sarah in her. Like he clearly like sees Sarah when she's doing like the joking, the goofing around stuff, but then he sees bits of him when it's like about how hard it is to kill. And like it's like Ellie is this version of Sarah, like if Ellie had become more like him now. I mean, if Sarah had become more like who he is now rather than who he was back then that's who Ellie is. So like, and I think that's just making it harder and harder, because he doesn't want her to fall into becoming who he is, but he wants to cherish the things that make her like Sarah. But he also wants to separate from that, because he doesn't want to go through that pain of losing her. If he doesn't want to lose a second Sarah, and it's all of that build up like leads up to a diarrhea joke, and and oh my god, that was, yeah. It's one of those scenes that like it can be one of the most emotional scenes of the entire show for me, despite being one person telling another person a joke. I think some people, they might watch a scene like that and they go, oh, that's cute, that's a cute scene, you know, but they don't feel emotional by it. They just think it's a cute scene. But it's for me, like that sort of stuff gets me. I really love character work, and it's not just the scene itself, it's all the context behind the scene, or the subtext under it, and all of the build up to it that makes it so impactful. It's why a lot of the time I will cry more rewatching a show than I'll cry watching it initially, because once I'm rewatching it, I know all of the context of what came before and what came after, and what the current scene is setting up for. When you're watching something for the first time, you don't know what they're building up to, but then it happens and you go, oh, that's what they were building up to. And for certain things, like a death in a show, I think it would be more common to be emotional the first time it happens. Like that's when you're gonna have the most emotion, because you didn't see it coming. It's shocking. It's like a shock emotion, you know. And even if you did see it coming, there's still this emotion that's like, I didn't want this to happen and now it's happening, you know. But other moments where it's like, a character telling another character that they're proud of them, you know, a character trying their best even though they're inevitably gonna fail, like you know, these characters bonding with one another despite having been through hardship. Like, those moments make me cry more on a rewatch because I know these characters so well, and my initial emotion it's not out of shock, it's just out of circumstance. Like, it's just out of knowing what they've been through and emoting based on that and putting myself in their shoes. I just, man, that final scene has gotten me, oh god. But anyway, I love the joke book stuff. I just love all of it. I love that they made it such an important part of the story as well. But if you haven't played the games, in the games, every once in a while, you might like you'll be going through an area, and then Ellie will go, "Hey, hold on," and you can turn around and you can go back to Ellie and you can talk to her. And when you talk to her, she takes out a joke book and she just starts reading out jokes, and it's basically like she's just telling jokes and she's cracking up at her own jokes, or the jokes in the book, or sometimes she's like, I don't get that one, or whatever. And for the most part, Joel's just going like, yeah, whatever. Like, he'll sometimes give it like a little chuckle or something. But for the most part, he's just ignoring her jokes. But it's a big part of her character because it's like that does feel like a huge bonding moment in the game. That feels like a moment when you're like, they're just goofing around, and it's really, really nice, and it builds a lot of Ellie's personality. So I love that they not only kept that in the show, but made it so important, and for me, like, the emotional crux of this entire episode. The Bryan scene was very sad. So they definitely changed around kind of how that scene went and made it was a bit more dramatic and a bit more of a drama in the game, but also the man was very faceless in the game. Like, he was some random thug. This show has made a conscious effort to make sure that, like, basically everyone you come across is someone. Like, the guard in the beginning, like, the Fedra guard, you know, he was just like a faceless dude, or it was a faceless dude and a woman in the game, and they changed it to this guy who we had a previous relationship with. And in this episode, you know, there's this dude who is part of a group of, you know, these raiders that basically any outsiders they ambush and take their shit. So he's from a terrible group of people who are doing horrible things, and yet there's so much humanity in him where he's just freaking out. He's talking about his mother. He's introducing himself. He's like scared because he can't walk anymore. You know, he doesn't know what to do. He's just doing anything he can to stay alive. We can tell that he was like working on pure adrenaline, but as soon as he gets shot, it all wears off. Like, it's, oh man. So the Kathleen thing I think is interesting because I don't know who Kathleen is, but she's clearly like, it's very smart to put a character like this in. It sets up the ideas of revenge being like this horrible cycle, which are themes that are played with in the series a lot. And yeah, it sets up the idea of, like, you know, doing anything for your family. And so in this case, it's like, my brother was wronged. This one guy is partially responsible for that, and he's allowed to just go free? No. Anything bad that comes up, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we get this guy, no matter what, you know? But yeah. Oh, also, the final thing I wanted to talk about, I don't want to spend too long talking. If you guys, want to hear even more of my blabbings, I don't know, you can ask me about it and I'll talk about more stuff that I like. But the final main thing is Bella Ramsey. So she's doing a great job, right? She's got her own interpretation of Ellie, because the Ellie in this show is different from the Ellie in the game. So we need to separate those two, Ashley Johnson's performance and Bella Ramsey's performance, because they're actually playing different characters. Even though they're both playing Ellie, and at the core Ellie is the same, they have definitely made some strong changes, and those changes are benefiting the story that the show wants to tell. So with all of that in mind, Bella Ramsey's doing such a great job. There are so many things that I'm really impressed with, because there are things that are really hard to do. Because I do acting myself. I'm part of a talent agency when I joined the talent agency, they did an acting course for the agency that they basically were getting their actors in and doing a course teaching you some things about how everything's gonna work, and also seeing like where you are in your acting talents, you know. And in that course, I remember one of the teachers who was running the course, who she's also in charge of the agency, she said like at some point, like one of the people I was acting with was doing this incredible monologue. She did an amazing job. She was crying or whatever, and you know, she was getting all the praise that she deserved. She's an amazing actress. She still is. I follow her on social media and stuff. She's incredible. But the course person who was in charge of the course, she was talking about how crying is in monologues and stuff. And she was saying, like, generally, it's not really compelling to watch someone cry. Just generally, it's not really that compelling to watch someone cry. It's compelling to watch someone try not to cry. And that is something that has stuck with me because that feels very true to me. And when I see scenes that stick with me the most in terms of crying scenes, it is scenes where people are trying not to cry. So I'm not going to spoil what happens in the show, but in Better Call Saul, in the second or third last episode, there's a scene where Kim is on the bus trying not to cry. And if you've seen the show, you know the scene I'm talking about. It's an incredibly compelling scene. It is a relatively long scene for what it is. And Rhea Seehorn just does an amazing job at having this character try her best not to cry on the bus. And like, that is such a compelling scene, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. So in this episode, Ellie is spending a lot of the episode trying not to cry. And she doesn't break down and start like she doesn't really burst into tears at any point. She has some tears running down her face, but for the most part, she's sitting there and she's going, I'm okay, I'm all right. And she's like wiping away tears. Like, I think she's doing such a crazy good job, and that sort of acting choice is very, very compelling. So great job to her. I'm so impressed with her acting choices and stuff, because look, I am indifferent towards Game of Thrones as a whole. I watched all of Game of Thrones. I've watched all of House of the Dragon so far. I really like House of the Dragon. I liked Game of Thrones, but I sort of like, I find it kind of difficult to follow like medieval fantasy. It's not my genre, and because it's not my genre, I tune out a lot while watching it, and because I tune out, I don't get how important some of the conversations are, so I miss a lot of stuff, and so because of that, I don't have the emotional connection to the show. So with all of that being said, like, I barely remember Bella Ramsey's performance. I remember her character, I remember things that she did, but I never took notice of her. But I also am not one of the people to judge casting choices before I've seen the media. So when she was cast as Ellie, I was like, all right, let's see how it goes. Great job. She's doing an awesome job. I'm so happy for her and proud of her, and I really hope she doesn't get too many death threats and stuff, but I know that is basically impossible because there's a lot of disgusting human beings on the internet who love to send death threats and who love to abuse, especially women, younger women, yeah, especially women though, who love to just abuse people for doing their job. So I hope she is okay, and she is doing an incredible job. It's amazing. Anyway, that is it for The Last of Us Episode 4 discussion. That was amazing. I adored that episode. It's possibly one of my favorites. I don't know, like, it hit the emotional beats that I wanted it to hit. So thanks for watching. Please make sure to go to my Patreon account if you want full-length early access and exclusive videos. Otherwise, you can also just like this video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. I want to hear your thoughts on this episode, on like things that might have hit you, like what your emotional triggers might be. If mine is like this sort of being proud of people and connecting with one another in a hard time. But yeah, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.